arranged to meet my online partner in person during the New Year festival, but unexpectedly ran into my ex-boyfriend's gathering. He held his new girlfriend's hand and irritably told me to get lost. We broke up already. Can't you stop persistently harassing me like a dog? Everyone stared at me with contempt. Humiliated, I clenched my phone and called my online partner. I'm here. Where are you? Under everyone's intense gaze, the top-ranked person in charge, the heir apparent of the corporation whom everyone reveres, picked up the phone. He stood up and looked at me. Come over. The last elective class at the end of the semester, I saw Michael again in the classroom. He sat lazily by the window seat. Seeing me, he sneered, "Still can't get rid of you? Even coming to class brings no peace." Instantly, all the classmates in the classroom turned to stare at me, amid hushed whispers. That's Emily, Michael's troublesome ex-girlfriend. She looked sweet and innocent when they dated. Who knew she'd turn out to be a nutcase? Heard about it? She took pills before to plead for reconciliation. Really scary. I hugged my backpack, standing there humiliated. Countless jumbled emotions surged up, making my vision go dark in waves, as if I were dragged back to those dark, hopeless times. I didn't even have the strength to defend myself once. All right, a familiar voice suddenly rang out beside me. It was my best friend Sophia. She pulled me over and scanned the room. The teacher's coming soon. Everyone stopped gossiping. I gave her a grateful look and sat next to her. Since high school, Sophia and I have been best friends. Back then, I was isolated by the whole class. Only she was willing to talk to me. She lowered her voice. I know you want to get back with Michael, but chasing him all the way to this elective class? He'll just find you terrifying. I bit my lip and whispered, I didn't know he chose this. Emily, we're best friends. How could you lie to even me? Sophia's expression suddenly turned serious. During course selection at the start of the semester, you clearly said you wanted to take a different class. I was about to tell her that the other course was too unpopular, didn't have enough students, and got cancelled. The teacher on the podium suddenly rapped the table. Speaking sternly, certain female students, quiet down during class. Someone shouted out, Teacher, she's not here to listen to the lecture, she's here to chase a man. The whole class burst into laughter. The teacher's reproachful gaze, Michael's contemptuous look, it made me feel like I was on pins and needles, my whole body plummeting into an endless abyss, my thoughts becoming completely dazed. I lost track of how long it lasted. The class bell finally rang. Sophia nudged my arm. Michael's packing up to leave. He's probably heading to the cafeteria for lunch. Do you want to follow him? I stayed silent for a moment, then murmured softly, I have no intention of chasing him. Coming to class today was just a coincidence. Emily, there's no need for you to be stubborn. I know you, I seriously interrupted her, I already have a boyfriend. She was stunned for a moment, then suddenly shook her head with a smile, looking helpless all over her face. Emily, this kind of trick you use to make him jealous is quite childish. How many guys do you know? Who would date you? Actually, I wasn't lying to her. I really had an online dating partner I met while playing games. The day before returning to school after the New Year's Day holiday. That night, I couldn't fall asleep again. Tossing and turning in bed, I finally got up, opened my computer. In the game, my online dating partner, David, was still standing at the spot where I logged off, motionless. He hadn't slept yet. Just as I was thinking about it, a message popped up in the private chat channel. Can't sleep? Yeah. He invited me to form a team. Then he said, put on your headphones. I'll sing for you. We stood side by side on the bridge in the main city of Yangzhou. He set off a bunch of fireworks for me and sang the song Just the Two of Us by Guoding. His gentle and slightly deep voice came into my ears. In the quiet night, it was like the sound of a cello. My nose started to ache, and tears welled up in my eyes uncontrollably. He controlled his in-game character to pat me on the head. Then he asked me, Bear Cub, winter vacation is coming soon. Don't you really want to meet me? Bear Cub was my game ID. I hastily wiped away my tears, composed myself, and then pretended to be light-hearted and said, Isn't it too hasty? I think we should be more cautious about turning an online relationship into a real one. Aren't you worried that I'm actually lying to you? He let out a couple of low laughs and said, "No way. It's okay if you don't want to meet so soon. I can wait until the day you change your mind." It wasn't that I didn't want to meet him. I was just scared. David was my in-game master. The night I found out that he went to the same university as me, I stayed awake all night. As soon as I closed my eyes, I'd dream of those fragmented images. I dreamed that he found out I was Emily, the unpopular girl in the finance department. "So you're that love-struck girl. You seem so decent online. Why didn't you say so earlier? Who would like you? How unlucky." I woke up from the dream in a cold sweat, took 2 pills, and lied to him about my college and grade. I even told him, in real life, I'm very lively and have a lot of friends. Everyone likes me. I lied. Apart from Sophia, the only friend I had left was the old teddy bear that had accompanied me since childhood. On the day of the holiday, I planned to tell Sophia about David. But as soon as I started, she laughed and said, "Emily, how old are you and still believe in this? If there was anyone who liked you in real life, who would get into this illusory online relationship?" Her words were like a hard slap in the face. As if realizing she'd said something wrong, she added, "Of course, Emily, I'm not talking about you. I just think that instead of believing those online scammers, you'd better beg Michael to get back together with you. Maybe he'll agree." As we were talking, we walked near the 3rd canteen. Sophia suddenly stopped walking and looked at the eye-catching silver-blue sports car not far away. "That's David's Lamborghini. It's a holiday today, why did he suddenly come back to school?" I looked up. "David? He's our senior in the finance department, the sole heir of the Wilson family. The special scholarship you applied for before is sponsored by his family." Sophia said, paused, and suddenly laughed. "By the way, Michael has been getting quite close with him recently, they're practically friends now, and he's even joining in on investment projects with him. For Chinese New Year, Michael invited him out to a gathering." I acknowledged it and took out my phone to glance at it. I found that David had just sent a new message. "Are the exams over? Yeah, I'll just grab a meal at the canteen and head home." The 3rd canteen? My finger paused on the screen, and I replied, "No, the 2nd canteen. These 2 canteens, one is at the easternmost part of the school, the other at the west." I know lying isn't good. But I'm really terrified of meeting him just like that. I had just put away my phone when Sophia pulled me to David's sports car. Just then, the car door opened, and a long leg stepped out. A face with sharp eyebrows and eyes, topped with neatly groomed black tousled hair, appeared before us. His black overcoat accentuated an air of noble and imposing demeanor. His gaze swept over us coldly. Sophia spoke in a warm and breezy tone, "David, my name is Sophia. I'm Michael's classmate, and I'm in the same department as you," David said flatly. "Don't know you." Sophia's smile froze on her face for a moment. But quickly, she pushed me forward. "It's fine. David doesn't know me, but he should know her, right? Her name is Emily. She's Michael's ex-girlfriend and very famous throughout the entire school." Caught off guard and pushed forward, the distance to those cold yet beautiful eyes closed in. My mind went blank with a roar. Intense shame made me instinctively want to hide backward, but she firmly gripped my wrist. "No, I'm not." "Emily, don't hide," Sophia said in a somewhat helpless tone, like coaxing an unruly child. "Given your family's situation, if it weren't for the scholarship sponsored by David's family, you probably couldn't even afford to attend school. Go over and thank him, at least." Nearby, passing classmates stopped and looked over. "Isn't that Emily from the finance department? How many times has this friend covered for her? I feel a bit sorry for her. I heard she has mental problems." "Shoo, stop talking, she's looking over." My eyes swept around, then I looked at David in front of me and took a deep breath. "David, although you might not know me, I still want to thank the Wilson family's scholarship for allowing me to study." "Nothing to thank for. The scholarship emphasizes assisting the outstanding, you earned it with your own ability. Also, I do know you." He paused, then continued, "Since I'm leaving campus today anyway, want a ride?" Sophia, nearby, gasped. The grip on my wrist suddenly tightened. I turned around and saw the mockery in her eyes hadn't yet faded. "True, How could Senior David not recognize our Emily? After all, she's Michael's ex-girlfriend. She chased him for so long, everyone at school knows it. And especially since Senior David and Michael are now. Before she could finish, David cut her off. His gaze fell coldly, carrying a stern edge. "You're being noisy." Just those 4 words made Sophia's face flush crimson, yet she couldn't spit out a single word of rebuttal. "Thank you, Senior David, but I don't need a ride." I forcefully pulled my hand free from Sophia's grip, gave David a slight bow, and walked away. Soon after arriving back at the dorm, Sophia returned. Before I could speak, she confronted me first. "Emily, why did you just abandon me there?" I looked up. "Then why did you drag me into saying hi to Senior David and bring up Michael? Your scholarship is sponsored by the Wilson family anyway, and besides, isn't it a fact that you and Michael were together? What did I say that was wrong? I told you, Michael and I have nothing to do with each other anymore." I shot up from my chair. She seemed startled, her eyes instantly reddening. "Fine, nothing to do with you, then I must have said too much. I apologize, I'm sorry, okay?" Before she could finish speaking, the dorm door suddenly swung open. Our other 2 roommates walked in. They exchanged a glance, went over to wrap their arms around her, and said, "Come on, don't bother with her, let's go eat." Before leaving, their eyes on me held undisguised resentment. Countless thoughts tangled chaotically in my mind. I faintly sensed something off but couldn't quite piece it together. It was the first fight Sophia and I had in our 3 years as friends. When I got back to that small, cold home, I opened my phone to see several messages from David. "No matter what, make sure to eat lunch on time. Did you get home? Let me know when you see this so I know you're safe." I blinked, the emotions I'd barely calmed surging back up, making my eyes sting. "I'm home." The typing indicator flashed on the chat screen for a few seconds. Then he asked, "Cub, is there something on your mind you want to tell me about?" I held my phone, momentarily dazed. How did he know I was feeling down? I had a disagreement with a friend. After hesitating briefly, I told David about my quarrel with Sophia that day. He directly called over voice chat. When I answered, I heard his familiar, gentle voice. "Usually, a little friction between friends is normal. It sorts itself out after you talk it through." I sniffled. "So should I go apologize and make up with her?" David chuckled softly. "Why should you be the one to apologize?" I hadn't finished. "There are also non-typical situations. I need to understand what started it first." I gave David a vague account of what happened that day, then added, "Actually, our friendship was always good. She was my best friend. Back in high school, when I got bullied, she always stood up for me. But since this semester started, I felt increasingly like something's not right. Hearing her talk makes me feel irritated. Sometimes she's supposedly helping me speak up, but it just makes things worse. In times like that, you should trust your gut," David said. "Cub, have you ever considered? A real friend wouldn't repeatedly bring up things you've already denied. And she definitely wouldn't use your scars as a way to curry favor with new friends." I was struck by a bolt of lightning and froze on the spot. On the other end of the phone, David's voice gradually turned serious. With a hint of sternness, it somehow sounded vaguely familiar to me. "Maybe in her eyes, you've never been her friend." That night, I stayed awake all night. The past 3 years kept flashing through my mind, and I gradually noticed some details that I had always overlooked before. At first, it was Sophia who introduced me to Michael. But every time we went out on a date, it would somehow end up being the 3 of us. Michael always said I was a fussy girl with overly sensitive thoughts. When I told Sophia about it, she held my hand and looked at me sincerely. "Actually, Michael makes sense, Emily. No one will always accommodate you. I know you tend to overthink because of being isolated in high school. It's hard for him to be in a relationship with you. You should also try to understand him more." Later, after Michael and I broke up, I had an anxiety and depression attack because of my parents' problems at home. I took some pills and was sent to the hospital to have my stomach pumped. During those dark days, rumors spread in school that I took the pills to force Michael to get back together with me. I was in the hospital, sleeping day and night in a mess. Sophia came to see me. She said, "Emily, take good care of yourself. Don't worry. I'll help you clarify this. But after I was discharged from the hospital, the rumors about me became even more rampant. There were thousands of posts about me on the campus forum, and they were all very harsh. Later, the posts were deleted, but my reputation got even worse. I asked Sophia, and she sighed. Emily, I've tried my best to clarify things for you. But you can't force everyone to like you, right? Early the next morning, I received a message from Sophia. Emily, I understand your illness isn't fully recovered yet. I won't blame you for what happened yesterday. Maybe it was because I sensed something, or maybe it was because of David's reminder last night. I stared at this message for a moment and for the first time didn't let things slide. I didn't do anything wrong yesterday. I don't need your forgiveness. I didn't read what else she replied. I put away my phone and turned to go out. As soon as I got on the bus, I received a message from David. What are you doing? Going out to buy New Year goods. Are you alone? Yeah. My parents are busy with other things at home. I lied to him again. After my parents divorced, they each started new families, and neither of them wanted me to interfere with their new lives. I've been living alone since I was 16. David asked me, I'm free after the holiday. Do you want me to help you carry things, cub? No, no need. I refused in a flurry. I can carry them. In the bustling supermarket, I picked out a pair of Spring Festival couplets and several pairs of paper cuts for window decoration. Just as I threw them into the shopping cart, I turned around and bumped into a familiar face. David. Senior David? I stood there stunned, unconsciously gripping the handle of the cart tightly. Nice to see you again, Emily. Maybe it was because of the crowded and lively surroundings. His gaze toward me wasn't as cold and sharp as yesterday at school. Instead, it was soft and gentle like a light, warm mist. Even his voice had gentled, carrying an oddly familiar tone to my ears. I instinctively said, "It sounds so familiar." The moment I spoke, I regretted it. My ears flushed red as I hastily waved my hands. David, don't misunderstand, I'm not trying to get close, it's your voice, it resembles a friend of mine. He raised an eyebrow, seeming unoffended. Is he a very close friend? I thought of David, and my lips unconsciously curved. Then why isn't he with you? Buying so much stuff, he should at least help carry. He wanted to come along, I didn't agree. I retorted without thinking, then worried he felt provoked, I glanced at him cautiously. He stood under the supermarket's warm, glowing lights, staring directly into my eyes. Just as he was about to speak, his phone rang. Really? The smile vanished from his face instantly, replaced by a cold, stern expression. I see, I'll go resolve it now. After hanging up, he gave me a deep look. I have something to handle, I need to leave. Goodbye, David. He took a step, then seemed to remember something, turned back, and lightly curved his lips. Indeed, we will meet again. After he left, I selected a few more items and pushed the shopping cart to check out. When I stepped outside, a fine, dense snow was falling from the sky. I lugged a heavily stuffed bag toward the bus stop. The snow soon thickened, blurring my vision to the point of haziness. Suddenly, I froze in place, staring straight ahead. Through the restaurant's floor-to-ceiling window a few meters away sat two figures I knew all too well, Sophia and Michael. Whatever Sophia said, she was laughing, her eyes curved like crescents. Michael suddenly leaned over, pinched her chin, and kissed her fiercely. I stood rooted in the snow, frozen. The chill seeped up my legs with the snow, soaking into every inch of my bones, right down to the marrow. Things from the past that had baffled me suddenly made sense in that instant. Perhaps in her mind, I was never truly her friend. David had been right. I wanted to storm in and confront them, but long-dormant negative emotions surged again, clawing at my throat until I could barely breathe. My thoughts grew increasingly murky until the vibration in my pocket snapped me back. On the screen, David's name flashed as the caller ID. I answered. The voice on the other end came through with a slight urgency. Buddy, it's snowing out there, are you home safe? Not yet. I clenched the phone, hearing myself reply, David, tomorrow, let's meet. When I reached home, the melted snow had drenched my hair completely. I took a quick shower, then bundled myself in a blanket on the sofa. Seeing a string of messages from David. Really, Emily? If you don't want to meet, you don't have to force yourself. I can wait. Why did you suddenly agree to meet? Did something happen? He was really a very perceptive person. I just figured some things out. It's not a solution to keep avoiding. I said, maybe you'll regret getting to know me after we meet. David. I made an appointment with David to meet at a restaurant near the Second Ring Road the next afternoon. When I was almost there, I received another message from him. Change the place, Emily. I glanced at the location he sent. It was a restaurant in the city center with a very high per capita consumption. My heart sank immediately. Are we going to eat at such an expensive place? I sent him a message, but he didn't reply. Instead, he called me directly. It doesn't matter if you don't want to eat. Just come here. I squeezed out of the crowd, got off the bus, and looked down at the bouquet in my arms. Only then did I realize that even though I had been very careful to protect it, it was still a bit wilted and messy. Just like my feelings that I cherished but had never been taken seriously. Standing in front of the restaurant, with the thought that this was the first and also the last time I would meet David, I took a deep breath and pushed open the glass door. Emily? A familiar voice came into my ears. I suddenly looked up and met Michael's gaze. His eyes moved down to the bouquet in my arms, and his expression instantly became contemptuous and disgusted. We've already broken up. Can you stop acting like a dog and pestering me? Sophia was sitting beside him. She didn't come over like before. She just looked at me half smilingly and said, Emily, so this is why you didn't reply to my messages. Seriously, if you really want to get Michael back, you shouldn't use this method. What's this? Like a crazy stalker. Everyone looked at me contemptuously. With a quick sweep of my eyes, I saw David in the main seat. Suddenly, I remembered what Sophia had said on the day of leaving school. She said that David was Michael's friend and they had made an appointment to have a get-together during the spring festival. So, it was today. I avoided his staring eyes, embarrassedly hugged the bouquet in my arms tightly, and took a deep breath. I'm not here to see Michael. I made an appointment to meet someone here. You? Michael sneered. You're a poor student who has to budget carefully even when eating in the cafeteria. Who would make an appointment with you in such a restaurant? Are you crazy? I ignored him and just took out my phone and dialed David's number. I'm here. Where are you? The phone rang. I suddenly looked up. In full view of everyone, David in the main seat answered the phone. He stood up and looked at me. Emily, come here. I stood there, holding the somewhat messy bouquet, and stared blankly at him. David looked at me and softly called out again, Emily. In an instant, I understood. Why his voice always made me feel familiar, very much like David's. Why David had said he knew me when we met at school. Why is it that right after I told David I was going to buy New Year goods, I bumped into him at the supermarket? Because David is David. After realizing this, I thought of all the lies I had made up before. A wave of shame engulfed my heart. Beside me, Sophia couldn't help standing up and looking over in shock. Brother David, what are you talking about? You know, Emily? Shouldn't I know her? It was you who pushed her in front of me at school that day. David gave her a cold glance, then walked over and stopped in front of me. He took the bouquet of flowers from my arms and lowered his eyes slightly. Is this for me? Yes. But there were too many people on the bus on the way here, and the flowers got a bit scattered. I said in a low voice, they don't look very good now. You can throw them away if you don't like them. I like them very much. He just looked at me, imitating my former tone. I like them very, very much. My face suddenly flushed, and even the tips of my ears burned red. It wasn't until David led me by the hand and sat me down in the seat beside him that Michael finally came to his senses. He looked at me, his face a little pale. Emily. Don't call my girlfriend by such an intimate name. She doesn't seem to have anything to do with you, does she? David said coldly. Also, repeat what you just said right now, in front of me. The corner of his lips curled up slightly, but there was no smile in his eyes. With each word he said, Michael's face turned even paler. After a long while, he managed to squeeze out a forced smile. "Brother David, I didn't mean that." David interrupted him expressionlessly. "Say it." "Well, that Emily, she's just, don't say this part." "I don't want to hear it." David held my hand in his palm and absent-mindedly stroked it with his fingertips. "Just say the part after that." Who would be blind enough to fall in love with someone like her? Now, the one who loves her is me, and the one who insists on being with her is also me. David let out a soft laugh. "If I understand correctly, you're saying I'm blind, right?" Michael's face was as pale as a sheet. His lips trembled, but he couldn't utter a single word of defense. He could only apologize as pale as death. "Sorry, Brother David, I didn't mean that." "Is the person you should really apologize to me?" David smiled, picked up the bottle beside him, and poured a glass of juice for me. "Emily, drink this." He softened his tone and was extremely affectionate. Everyone present could tell what he meant. So Michael gritted his teeth, walked over with a glass of wine in his hand, and apologized to me. "Sorry, Emily." David gave him a cold look. He quickly changed his words. "Emily, sorry, I was wrong about what happened before. I'll drink this glass of wine as an apology to you." He downed the wine in one gulp, and there was almost a hint of pleading in his eyes as he looked at me. I suddenly thought it was absurd. Can a glass of wine just wipe away everything that happened before? You remember clearly how you oppressed me, humiliated me, and spared no effort to spread rumors about me among all the schoolmates. And I've told you about my family. You should also know exactly why I took pills to commit suicide before. David tightened his grip on my hand suddenly. But you just let everyone misunderstand me and allowed the rumor that I took pills to beg you for reconciliation to spread all over the school. How do you think that a simple apology can make everything go away? It had been a long time since I spoke so many words in one breath. Maybe even Michael didn't expect it. He looked at me, and his expression gradually became embarrassed. "If you need something from David, then ask him sincerely. I'll never forgive you, so you don't need to apologize to me." After leaving these words, I got up and went to the restroom. After drying my wet hands and just stepping out, I bumped into Sophia in the corridor outside. She no longer came to hold my arm intimately as before. The look in her eyes towards me was full of undisguised hatred. "Emily, I underestimated you." I looked at her and tried to suppress the discomfort welling up in my heart. "I always thought you were my best friend. Who wants to be friends with a psycho like you? I just wanted to have some fun." She glared at me and gritted her teeth. "When did you hook up with David?" I looked at her coldly. "It was when you said, who would engage in such a vain thing like online dating if there was someone who liked them in real life?" "What do you mean?" "It means that he is my online dating partner." Sophia just stared at me. The emotions of unwillingness and hatred intertwined in her eyes. Finally, she sneered. "So what? He is the heir of the Wilson Group. Online dating? He's just having fun with you to pass the time." Before she finished speaking, David's voice rang out from behind. "It seems that you know me better than I know myself." Sophia's face turned deathly pale all of a sudden. David looked at her coldly. "Do you think others can't see through your little tricks?" "David, I'm not." Sophia's voice was trembling, and she couldn't utter a complete sentence. In the end, she even looked at me for help. David called me. "Emily, come here. Don't stand with someone with bad intentions." I walked towards him. At the moment when I passed by Sophia, I paused. "I once regarded you as my only best friend. I was sincere at that time, and I don't regret it. But from now on, it's over." After walking a few steps along the corridor, David came over with a bouquet of flowers and took my hand. "Sorry to make you feel sick, Emily. Let's go to another place for dinner." "Actually, it's not necessary." Before I could finish my words, Michael chased out from inside. "David, please think about what I said just now. What happened before wasn't on purpose. Someone deliberately instigated it." David suddenly stopped in his tracks, turned around, and looked down at him condescendingly. His tone was cold and sharp, and his eyes were full of obvious mockery. "Now who is the one who is clinging to me like a dog for some investment?" David and I walked out of the restaurant side by side. Stepping on the thin layer of snow on the ground, we walked towards the parking lot. "Are you cold?" He turned his head and asked. I nodded subconsciously, then stopped immediately and quickly shook my head. "No, I'm not cold." "Didn't you come out to discuss some cooperation? Is it okay to just leave like this?" "What kind of cooperation?" He pulled me into the silver-blue Lamborghini, turned on the warm air of the air conditioner, and said, "He slandered my girlfriend right in front of me and still wanted to ask me for an investment. Is he crazy?" The tone of this sentence finally matched the David I knew completely. Before meeting him today, I had imagined countless possibilities about David. He might find out that I was Emily as soon as we met and turn away disappointed. Or he might maintain the basic decency and say that we should just be friends. Then I thought of David singing to me on the bridge in the middle of the night. I thought of him setting off fireworks all over the city for me in the game. I thought of every quiet night when we were on the phone, only hearing each other's breathing. Emotions and memories were all in a mess, making me not know what to say for a long time. Finally, I just said, "Sorry." "Why are you suddenly apologizing to me?" "Because I lied to you." I took a deep breath. "I told you that in real life, I'm very lively, have a lot of friends, and everyone likes me. But actually, as you've seen, no one actually likes me. I'm infamous at school. Even my only friend." I thought of Sophia, and a fine, stabbing pain welled up in my heart again. "Anyway, sorry, David. You're being so polite. Do you want to draw a clear line with me completely?" He leaned over and got closer to me little by little, enveloping me with the cold oak fragrance on his body. I was slightly in a daze for a moment and quickly came to my senses. No. Actually, the one who should really apologize is me. Those beautiful eyes stopped very close to me, as if there were galaxies flowing in them. My heart was pounding. He raised his hand but stopped with great propriety an inch away from my cheek. "I should have explained it to you earlier. I knew it was you. That wasn't really a lie, Emily. It's because you're so good that I fell in love with you." The Lamborghini drove through the congested traffic and stopped in front of a flower shop. David unbuckled his seatbelt. "Emily, wait for me in the car." A moment later, he came out holding a large bunch of lilies so fresh that there were still drops of water on them. "I originally planned to buy a bunch of flowers to see you after it was over. But then I heard them scolding you behind your back, so I changed my mind on the spot. I called you here to help you get even. Instead, you gave me flowers first." He held the flowers out to me. I didn't take them. I just looked up at him seriously and said, "Let's just stop here." David's fingers holding the flowers trembled slightly, and he looked at me. "Did I do something wrong that made you uncomfortable?" I couldn't bear the intense emotions in his eyes, so I had to lower my head. "No, you're perfect." It was precisely because he was so perfect and stood so high. Instead, it made me have a strong sense of unreality. It was so absurd. My online dating partner was David. How could that be possible? "Actually, I wanted to see you a long time ago, but I was also very afraid that you'd find out who I was." After hesitating for so long, I finally made up my mind yesterday when I confirmed that Sophia wasn't really my friend. "I imagined many possible looks of you. You might be good-looking, might not be very good-looking, or might be just an ordinary and unremarkable person like me. The only thing I didn't think of was that you'd be so out of reach, David." After uttering the last two words, my heart ached with bitterness. In the game, David and I galloped through long streets, gathered herbs on the mountain, and stood by Lakeside Inshua with an umbrella all day. One evening, he was a bit drunk and got clingy, insisting on connecting via voice chat. Nervously lying in my dorm bed with headphones on, I typed to him, "My roommates are asleep, I can't talk." "Then we won't talk," he replied. The in-ear headphones amplified his voice, making it feel like he was whispering right at my ear at one point. "I just wanted to make sure you were there. Emily. I like you so much. I miss you so much. But in real life." In real life, I've always been standing deep in the muddy valley, gazing up at him from afar. In the whole school, who doesn't know David? And who doesn't know me? It's absurd. David didn't speak for a while, just looking at me. In the quiet car, warmth silently spread. Outside the window, dark clouds tightly wove together in the sky, blocking the sunlight, as if ready to dump the snow they contained all at once. After a long pause, he finally spoke. "It's my fault. I should have told you sooner, or not rushed into meeting up. I'm sorry, Emily, for pressuring you." A lump rose in my throat, almost unable to hold back the inexplicable flood of tears. "No. Don't apologize, you didn't do anything wrong. But relationships that start in the virtual world should just stay there. David probably got fooled by the fake version of me I created online. If he spent time with me in real life, he'd see I'm not that person and not worth his liking." Before I could finish, he took my hand. "I can accept that our relationship pauses here for now, but I won't accept you putting yourself down. When I pretended to run into you at the supermarket yesterday, I really wanted to clear everything up. But a company issue came up suddenly and I had to leave. I wanted so badly to push the cart with you, pick out New Year's supplies, carry your bags, and walk down the bustling street together. The more crowded and noisy the place, the more I wished you were right beside me." He reached out, his warm fingertip brushing my damp eye corner. Only then did I realize I was crying. "Emily, meeting you wasn't a spur-of-the-moment thing for me, it was a decision made after careful thought. I've known you long before those baseless rumors ever existed." After returning home, I posted on the school forum and also submitted to the confession wall. It wasn't much, just a photo and an audio clip. The photo showed Sophia and Michael kissing passionately by the restaurant's floor-to-the-ceiling window last evening. The audio was brief, a dialogue from the restaurant hallway earlier in the day. I had edited out any parts involving David, so the key highlight was only one line: "Who wants to be friends with a lunatic like you? I'm just watching for kicks." Rumors about me had always been popular gossip fuel for everyone. Now that it involved Sophia and Michael, the discussions heated up even more. In just one night, it racked up over 1,000 replies. "They say Emily is sick. Well, Sophia and Michael aren't exactly sane either. Yeah, if my best friend and boyfriend hooked up, I'd go crazy too if I were her. Hold on, that's not fair. Whether they end up together or not, it doesn't change that Emily is a psychodrama queen. Didn't she take pills to get back together with someone? That's a fact, right? Wait. Who remembers how the news about her attempting suicide to get back together was spread? You know what, it seems to be Sophia." The comment sections of the forum and the confession wall were abuzz with discussions, with all sorts of opinions. In reality, it's not like in novels where my reputation would instantly improve after clarification. In everyone's eyes, I still seemed like a bad person. But this time, at least I managed to drag Sophia and Michael down with me. When the online uproar was at its peak, I was sitting in front of the doctor. After the examination, she smiled and said, "Recently, your condition has improved significantly. You can gradually reduce the dosage of your medicine until you stop taking it." Did something good happen in your life? I was stunned for a few seconds before realizing. I met a very nice person. You can say he's my mentor and friend. The person involved is often oblivious, and I don't have any other trustworthy friends. If it weren't for David's reminder, I might never have fallen out with Sophia. Nor would I have mustered the courage to fight back. That night when I got home, I logged into the game. I found David standing by the bridge in the main city, Yangzhou. Some people invited him to have a duel, but he refused them all. When he saw me log in, he mounted his horse and invited me to ride with him. Then he turned on the voice chat and said, "I've seen the post and the things on the confession wall. You did a great job." I suddenly felt a bit embarrassed. It's because of your encouragement. Otherwise, with my naturally timid and quiet personality, I rarely have such moments of brave counterattack. Thank you, David. So now you won't even call me master? He said. You even edited out the parts about me in the recording. You don't even give me a proper title. Are you really that afraid of being associated with me? I couldn't tell whether he was happy or angry from his voice and quickly explained, "No, I was afraid of implicating you. After all, this isn't exactly a glorious thing." But before I could finish my sentence, David on the other end started laughing. His voice was extremely gentle. "It's okay. I'll respect whatever you want to do. Emily, I like you, so I'm willing to wait until you figure things out. Not long after the post was published, Sophia started bombarding me with messages. At first, she cursed at me, saying that if it weren't for her taking pity on me, no one would want to be my friend. Gradually, she started to play the victim. She apologized to me, saying that it was all her fault. She was jealous of my good grades and wanted to bring me down. After all, we were friends. Delete the post, and we'll solve our problems privately. I thought about our time in high school. At the beginning, although I didn't have many friends, I wasn't isolated by the whole class. Thinking carefully, it seems that after the class reshuffle in the second year of high school, when Sophia came to our class and became my desk mate, our relationship got closer, and my popularity in the class got worse. But all these are in the past. There's no evidence, and I don't want to pursue it meaninglessly. We can't solve these problems on our own, Sophia. I only showed people the truth. The public will judge right from wrong. After sending this message, I blocked her. Throughout the winter vacation, I didn't meet David in person. But we still spent every day together in the game. However, it seemed that something had changed. Before, to me, he seemed like a vague shadow, an indistinct figure. He was a spiritual pillar in another virtual world beyond the stark reality of my constant failures. But now, Emily, log in, I'll set off fireworks for you. That raspy voice slipped into my ears, and my face inexplicably started heating up. It's late. Not yet, it's not bedtime. He let out a soft hum, his voice growing even hoarser. Log in, I just want to see you, even if it's only in the game, little bear, Emily, my good student, wife. The last word was cut off abruptly, fading into indistinct murmurs. My ears burned red hot, as if flames were scorching from my chest all the way to my head. At that moment, it suddenly dawned on me, have you been drinking again? Yeah, just a little, because I'm happy, he said. Tomorrow, the semester starts, and we finally get to meet face to face again. It's hard to describe what I felt inside at that instant. Why are you like this? My voice was faint, tinged with panic and uncertainty. We hadn't seen each other before that day. Do you really like me so cautiously? He cut me off. Who says we didn't see each other? The cafeteria day doesn't count. Little bear, you haven't seriously remembered what I told you. Suddenly, a hint of hurt crept into his tone. I distinctly recall telling you that I saw you a long time ago. On the first day of the semester, we didn't have many classes. I went straight to the counselor to submit my dormitory transfer application. She clearly knew about the incidents discussed on the forum and also that I'd been unwell recently. Checking the system, she found there happened to be a newly available dorm room with only one occupant, so she approved my application swiftly and without fuss. After filling out a pile of forms, I came out, lugging my luggage to move to the new dorm. But halfway there, I ran into David. Standing just a few steps away beneath a tree sprouting fresh green leaves, he looked directly at me. I paused in my tracks. David. He walked over naturally and took the suitcase from my hand. Want to have lunch together? I couldn't help saying, but this is on campus. So what about campus? He curved his lips into a smile, and with his free hand, he naturally ruffled the top of my head. Since when can't I help my girlfriend carry her things on campus? I had no comeback, so I just followed alongside him. As we walked toward the new dorm, I nervously kept glancing around. David seemed amused by my behavior. Emily, what are you looking for? I'm afraid someone might notice us and spread rumors. After all, I've always been a hot topic for discussion, and the gossip hasn't been very positive. David fell silent for a second, then just held my hand. I flinched in surprise and instinctively tried to pull my hand back. But he only gripped it tighter. I've been hoping for nothing less. My new roommate was a short-haired girl from the computer science department next door. Her name was Olivia. Not only did she come downstairs early to help me with my luggage, but she also accompanied me back to my old dorm room to pack. From now on, it's just the two of us in this room. And I have a boyfriend, so I won't be around often. You don't need to worry, she said, opening the wardrobe. Want some strawberries? I'll go wash a bunch. Thanks. Just a couple is fine. She hummed in acknowledgement, poured out the entire box of strawberries, and got up to wash them. I took out my phone and discovered that someone had taken a photo of me holding hands with David on the street and submitted it to the campus confession page. The comments section exploded. Holy crap, holy crap, holy crap, what am I seeing? Am I seeing things? Is that Emily and David? No wonder she suddenly got so bold, daring to hit back at Sophia and Michael on the forum. Turns out she found herself a backer. You can't say it like that. A victim should fight back whenever they want. Those two are in the wrong anyway. Not important. Am I the only one curious how she managed to hook up with David? These people are blind. Olivia's voice suddenly sounded above me, carrying a cold sneer. Can't they see that David is the one desperate to hook up with you? I stared blankly at the strawberry she held to my lips. When it finally registered, I quickly reached out to take it. How do you know? I asked, the words barely out of my mouth before I recalled her name. It dawned on me, what's your relationship with David? Olivia watched me swallow the strawberry, then offered another one. He's my cousin, though I hate to admit it. Sitting in the chair, everything slowly clicked into place. Why changing dorms went so smoothly this time. Why David was waiting nearby just after I submitted the form. Why my new roommate, the only one sharing with me, had been so friendly, even when my reputation was seriously tarnished. All because of David. A rush of warmth surged from deep within my heart, spreading through my veins until my entire body felt suffused with it. It felt like I was soaking in warm water, my thoughts floating dizzily. Until the phone rang. I answered, hearing David's voice. Emily, all packed up? Yeah. Good. Rest for a bit, then come out later for dinner. I'll introduce you to some friends. In the evening, Olivia and I got into David's car. She ran her hand over the leather seats. Damn it, you got another new car? When I want to switch, Mom absolutely refuses. David said calmly, when the money for your new car is what you've earned yourself, you can too. The car stopped outside a quiet private restaurant. We walked through winding corridors over bridges and past little streams to reach a private room with excellent discretion. There, I met some of David's friends. Most were either extremely wealthy or prominent, and quite a few had even appeared in trending online searches. Yet, their attitude towards me was very friendly. None of the veiled or overt contempt I feared materialized. I got it! A young man named Daniel slammed his glass down on the table after downing his drink, standing up abruptly. You're that latte girl. I froze. What latte girl? David shot him a cold glance. Shut up. Daniel Moore pretended not to hear and instead leaned in with great interest. When David was 16 or 17, in his rebellious phase, he dyed his hair white. All day long, he either skipped classes to race cars or smoked and got into fights. He was just like the school bully in those third-rate novels. Then one day, he got into a fight and got injured. After being scolded by his sister, he went out alone. It was raining outside. When he came back, he was soaking wet, but he was holding half a cup of unfinished hot latte in his hand. The next day, he seemed like a completely different person. He dyed his hair back and started studying hard and making progress every day. After we repeatedly questioned him, he finally said that he had rushed out in a fit of anger without taking anything. It was a little girl who wrote an essay for someone in a convenience store and exchanged it for a cup of hot latte for him. It's really amazing that she could change a guy like him. So all of us friends in the circle really admire the latte girl. Hey, before Daniel could finish his words, David grabbed him by the back of the collar and dragged him away forcefully. Looking into my slightly dazed and helpless eyes, he reached out and held my hand. Don't mind him, Emily. If you can't remember, don't force yourself. Because I had been taking medicine for a long time, my memories of the past had become very fragmented. Even though I tried hard to recall, I still couldn't remember this incident. When we were leaving, Olivia left first, saying that she was going to find her boyfriend. It was just me and David going back to school alone. The moonlight was like a woven net, and the night wind carried the still biting spring cold. Before getting out of the car, he suddenly took out a paper bag from the side. Then he took out a scarf from it and carefully wrapped me up. It's cold at night. Don't catch a cold. As he did this, his warm fingertips accidentally brushed against my cheek for a moment. When he reached around from behind with the scarf, a nice oak fragrance came from him. The person in front of me overlapped again with the David who accompanied me through the toughest time in the game. The difference was that this time, I no longer felt that he was so far away. Maybe it was because I had drunk a little fruit wine at the dinner table. The slight drunkenness gave me the courage. At the moment when he finished tying the scarf and didn't immediately pull away, I gently rested my head on his shoulder. Then I heard David's suddenly rapid breathing. "Cub?" He asked me hesitantly, "Am I dreaming right now?" I sniffed. "Why are you always so cautious around me? You're David, after all." Even though I didn't say the last part out loud, he understood what I meant. He reached out and gently pressed my head. "Because in front of you, I'm just David, a normal person who gets anxious and insecure because of the girl he likes." On this early spring night, the cold was intense, and even his voice took on a touch of coolness. But it also had the power to soothe. "I never thought I was far away from you. You're standing there, and I'm trying to get closer to you step by step. So, just keep walking with me, Emily." The last time I heard about Sophia and Michael was 2 months later. The project that Michael was so eager to invest in and start a business with. Since he couldn't get an investment from David, he turned to someone else. The other party invested, and the project was in progress. But then a scandal of patent plagiarism suddenly broke out. And the person who accused him of plagiarism had solid evidence and even involved the reporters to make the matter worse. It had become irreparable. It said that his girlfriend, Sophia, was also involved in the patent theft, but he has no evidence, and Sophia flatly denies it. Michael got angry and had a big fight with her, saying that whether it was related to her or David, it was all her fault for causing trouble behind the scenes. 2 people were arguing fiercely, and in the end, they even came to blows. Michael hit Sophia, and as a result, she, who was pregnant with his child, had a miscarriage on the spot and was rushed to the hospital. Now Sophia's family intends to sue him for intentional injury. Later, Michael was sent to jail, and Sophia dropped out of school. Olivia was the first to share the full details of the incident with me. Because their situation blew up so big, it served as a contrast, revealing how one-sided many previous rumors had been. My reputation actually improved quite a bit, but I don't care anymore. A healthy, stable close relationship has made me increasingly aware that these irrelevant people's opinions of me, whether good or bad, were never worth caring about in the first place. As the semester was drawing to a close, it coincided with Olivia's birthday party. I stayed with her, keeping the festivities going late into the night. After it broke up, David drove me home. I was so exhausted that I dozed off in the car. Drowsily, I dreamed of a scene that felt unfamiliar yet vaguely familiar. It seemed like it was a summer when I was 14. One rainy evening, my parents were arguing again. For as long as I could remember, they fought these fierce battles almost every day. I had grown used to it. When my dad started smashing plates and bowls, and my mom sat on the floor pounding the wall while sobbing, I quickly gathered my homework notebooks and test papers and headed to a brightly lit convenience store near home. The shop owner was very kind and allowed me to sit there doing homework without buying anything. That day's homework was piled high. By the time I finished it all and was ready to go home, it was almost 11 at night. Just as I shouldered my backpack, a tall, lean figure suddenly burst through the rain curtain and dashed inside. That person had faded, ash-gray hair, with long bangs covering most of their eyes. I couldn't see their face clearly and even thought they looked a bit alternative. The shop owner wasn't there, it was her high school-aged daughter minding the store. That person ordered a hot drink but had no money to pay for it. They were drenched head to toe, standing there pitifully with their heads slightly bowed. They reminded me of a helpless little puppy. So I sat down and quickly wrote a persuasive essay for the owner's daughter to hand in for school. It took less than half an hour, and I exchanged it for that hot latte. That person held the cup, staying rooted in place without even saying a word of thanks. Not bothered, I put on my backpack to leave, but they called out to me. "You write essays that fast?" It sounded like they were fishing for conversation. I hesitated, but still said, "Because at school, I often do homework and write essays for money, so I'm used to it." Why do you have to rely on that to make money? I stared at them blankly, not quite understanding what they meant, and replied, because I need money to buy lunch. They didn't speak again. I hadn't brought an umbrella when I left home, so seeing the rain outside had lightened up, I quickly shouldered my backpack and hurried away. Suddenly, I snapped my eyes open, snapping back from the dream. The moonlight fell cold and clear into the car, spreading a silvery sheen between us. A faint, floral scent drifted in through the half-open window. David was the first to notice I was awake. He turned to me and gently touched my cheek. Awake? We're home. I remember now. He paused slightly. What? I remember now, that time I bought you a hot latte. The long-haired youth with eyes hidden by his hair from my dream overlapped with David before me right then, creating a strange sense of unfamiliarity that made me almost unrecognize him. I instinctively reached out, my fingertips brushing through his soft black hair. Then my hand was gripped tightly by him. Not long after that day, I went back to look for you, but the shop owner said you had moved away. She didn't know your name or where you had gone. Because after returning that day, the house was a complete mess. My parents had the biggest fight ever, smashing the entire place to pieces. The very next day, they couldn't take it anymore and filed for divorce. I moved away with my mom, and later she remarried. That stepfather really disliked me. Not wanting to put my mom in a tough spot, I moved out on my own. Talking about these sad things now feels way too much like I'm playing the victim. I paused for 2 seconds, awkwardly shifting the topic. Even if I did remember this, I might not have recognized you. Because in just 5 years, he had changed completely. You too. David curved his lips into a smile and hugged me. His voice was so gentle it seemed like it could drip. I stayed in the city for college just to wait for you to show up again. As he spoke, he moved even closer. Our noses nearly touched, and our hot breaths intertwined intensely, filling the car's atmosphere with intimacy. I suddenly recalled what Olivia had said at the party earlier. David's normal voice isn't that soft, it's cold like everyone owes him money. If you thought he was gentle at first, it was all an act. Damn it, that fake tone. I couldn't help but laugh. Emily, don't zone out. David's voice snapped me back. He lifted his hand, sliding it through my hair falling by my cheek to cup one side of my face, and kissed me. My breathing instantly faltered, and I reflexively tried to inhale deeply, but that let his lips and tongue press deeper, leaving me helplessly swallowing in confusion. The warm, moist feeling on my lips gradually grew scorching in the deep, lingering kiss. This intense and drawn-out kiss lasted for a long, long time. Even the moonlight and summer flower scents seemed crushed between our lips and teeth. By the end, my vision blurred with tears, and I clung to his shoulders with my last bit of strength. David pulled back slightly. But hovering near my lips, he breathed out low and husky, "It's getting late, time to head home." He gently stroked my hair. "After waiting so long, I can finally say this to you every day now. Emily, see you tomorrow."